welcome to the show. My name is Jeri Lange, and today we're going to be talking about young thespians who happen to be with us today. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you.
Last December around Christmas time, I was very lucky to be invited to a performance of A Christmas Carol. I was thrilled with the performance I saw, and these two young people were in that production. I thought it would be a wonderful show to have them come on and tell you how they made it to that performance and what it takes to be a young thespian in today's time. So that's going to be what we're talking about today. So we're talking to Aaron Lockett.
Yes.
And Mr. William David Southall.
Yes.
And his dad, Russell Southall, who's with the business department at Laney College. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So where do we start? How on earth did you two make it to ACT?
Well, I saw a production of The Christmas Carol that William was in about 2 years ago. And I really, really enjoyed it. So I decided, hey, I kind of want to do that. So I told my mom, and she says, well, why don't you just go for it? And so I said, okay, I'll do that. So I enrolled in, with my mom's help, I enrolled into the ACT school program. And over last summer, I took musical theater classes and acting technique class.
Now they taught that at ACT?
Yes.
That's wonderful. Does it cost anything, or you just, that's being a part of it? If you just be a part of it?
Yes, there is tuition.
They do have tuition,
Yes.
Okay. So it's an acting school in that sense.
Well, my story is similar to Aaron's, but it's a little different. I have this theater angel. Her name is Miss Tracy, and she just recommended ACT to my dad. So he decided to enroll as well, and so he told me about it during the summer. I don't know how long, but we just decided to go for a week, and so around November or August, I got a letter from ACT, and they were, it was a letter that lists all the shows, and my dad decided that we should do a Christmas Carol. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I auditioned, and I got a call back, and I got in, and I just had so much fun, and I wanted to do it the next year. And so when Erin came to see the show, she told me that she liked it and she wanted to do it. And so I explained to her what happened, and so she decided to go.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, now let's go back to the first time you began to think of theater, because I understand the two of you also did something over here at Fairyland.
Yes.
So let's start with the beginning interest you had in theater, and then how you worked your way toward your other performances prior to ACT.
Well, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, my church was putting on these little tiny plays and like a community play, kind of like that. And ever since then, I've always liked the stage and like performing in front of a lot of people. And then my mom told me about Fairyland, and I said, okay, why not do that? And then I think me and William had a little discussion about it. And so we decided to go ahead on and audition, and we auditioned into Fairyland, and we both got in. We got into the same play, which was, I think it was
a different version of Pinocchio.
Yes,
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. It was
hip
kind
hop
of a rock
version.
something, a rock.
It was a
Pinocchio
hip hop version.
hip-hopper. It was
Hip-hopper,
like hip-hop
yeah,
mixed with opera, so it was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun to do it.
Yes, I played as the blues fairy. Instead of the blue fairy, it was the blues fairy. That was a lot of fun.
And I played Jiminy Cricket.
And what did you play?
I played Jiminy Cricket.
Jimmy Cricket.
And I asked for them to paint my face green, but they didn't have any paint. And so I just got the suit.
Well, how old were you both when you were playing?
We were about 8, actually. I think we're supposed to be 8 to audition. And actually, the audition was at our school, and Beacon Day School, and that's where me and Aaron met.
Okay,
Yes,
so
in
now
second grade.
so the next step on the road is, tell me some of the things you did on your way to ACT.
On my way to ACT, I kind of took a little break for like 2 years from acting, and I focused on my schoolwork and doing good in school. And then I went to Oakland School for the Arts, which we both went to that school as well.
Right.
And we started in 6th grade. And in 6th grade, we performed in The Wiz, which is kind of like The Wizard of Oz, but a little mixed up. It was actually a movie with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross.
I remember that. What role did you play?
I played as one of the crows, but in our version of The Wiz, it was kind of like a doo-wop girl crow.
That sounds like fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And what was your role in The Wiz?
I played a munchkin.
A munchkin?
I played munchkin, and it might be shocking to you because I'm really tall.
Yeah.
But there was 5 of us, or 6 of us that were munchkins, and what we did was there was stools, these little short stools, and that move, and the chairs spin around.
Yeah.
And they gave us, we were wearing T-shirts and a little colorful jacket, and there was this hoop that had this covering, this colorful covering, and there was different colors like green, blue, purple, orange, and other colors. And so they just put the hoop on, and then we just
did
got
you do a little
on.
boogie, huh?
Yeah, it was kind of hard because the stools were kind of hard to move in because we were trying to get the groove on.
Well, you know, William, the first time I saw you perform was in Raisin in the Sun.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Oh yeah, Raisin in the Sun.
Right.
That was a really good experience.
And you played?
I played Travis Younger.
All right.
I forgot how old is he? He is
About 10.
He's about 10.
Yeah.
And on the day that I auditioned, I watched the movie, and I never heard of this show before.
Oh.
And so my mom rented the movie, and I just got my little portable DVD player, and we drove all the way into Mountain View.
Yes.
Mountain View. And I just watched the movie while we were going so I can have the feel of it. And so we went to the Pear Theater, and that's where we had our rehearsals as well. And I just sat down. We had the script, and we did the first scene, and I got in on the first
edition.
day.
All right.
Right after the audition, I got in, so I was just happy on that day.
Yes.
And I kind of actually looked like my play mom, so it was really interesting.
Well, you know, little Birdie told me that you not only knew all your lines, you knew everyone else's lines in that play.
Yes, actually, while the play was going on, probably the 5th week of rehearsal, I started to memorize everybody's lines.
Yeah, you memorized, isn't that incredible?
Like, because I've heard it so many times, it just gets into your head.
Yeah.
And because, and also I'm the only kid
in the play, that's
in the play, so it was really interesting to
Well, let me
be
say
with the
that you were
adults.
really very, very fine. I saw the stage presence because you start out the play, really. You're the first person you see, I think.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, this kid's gonna walk away with this play. You know, I could just see it. So, see, in a sense, a presence that people have, people can see. That's what really makes a star, when people can notice presence of a star, because you do bring everything that you are to that stage. And both of you have that star quality. And the good thing is, you've made it fun, because it can be very hard work, you know, to be there.
It is fun.
It really is. So let's talk a bit about the role of the parent, because that's very important. I've noticed all the times that, for instance, we went to San Leandro, your dad had to take you out there for not only rehearsals and whatever. So the role of the parent becomes extremely important here, because you can't get to rehearsals, it's late at night sometime. Tell me about the role of your parents, beginning with you and your mom.
My mother, Lynette Lockett, she played a big role in my theater career, because like, even though I was taking BART to San Francisco, most of the time when I was in A Christmas Carol with William, somebody had to drive me to the BART, and I couldn't just walk there.
No.
So, and even coming back from rehearsal, usually it would be like late at night sometimes. So my mom would come pick me up, and she would drive from San Francisco all the way back to Oakland. And So I thank her for that.
Right. And I know your dad takes you everywhere.
Yes. Same thing with Christmas Carol. Sometimes we drove back and forth. But in my other shows, I actually I literally packed my pajamas in the car to sleep and, in the car. Two shows actually, Showboat, where did I do that?
San Mateo.
San Mateo. And I live in Pinole.
Yeah, that's a long way.
Pinole to San Mateo is pretty far. So I did that around 7, 8?
Yeah, about
7,
8 years old.
Okay. And so I would just...
So actually, let's face it, you couldn't do the things that you did without your parents.
Yes.
So let's talk about, I happen to know your mother packed this great big picnic lunch when I went to see you in Raisin and Sun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
lunch. That was really good
that's what real love is about. Yeah. But you had and what's good about this is you had both parents interested in your career. So now we come to you, Russell Southall.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me, you're a performer yourself and eloquent. I heard you at the church, and you were wonderful.
Thank you.
So tell me about the role of the parent and the interest they must have in the child, because they have to have that kind of backup, don't they?
I would certainly agree. And I just want to reflect back on their beginning at Fairland, William and Aaron's beginning, because they were actually with Children's Fairland for 3 seasons, being personalities and ambassadors in various shows, and they always were in the same cast, and they make quite an interesting duo. But in terms of all the theater productions that we've been involved in, and it was very apparent in starting with Children's Fairland, is that the parents' role is very critical. In fact, in some of those situations where children are involved, they look at the parents just as closely as they look at the kids, because it's absolutely important that the parents be dedicated and will do whatever that they need to do to make sure the kids are there and meeting deadlines and on time and things of that nature. So when you have talented kids that certainly have exhibited a passion for the arts, it's
a heavy responsibility.
Yeah, it's the parents' responsibility to try to do whatever it takes to support them in that particular effort, and that's what we've tried to do. Both my wife and I, and our wonderful friend Lynette Lockett, who is Aaron's
her mother. Your mother.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you know what's nice about this? You know, we don't want to bring in all the terrible things that have been happening around Oakland with our young people, but you know that they're packing guns, not only into the home, but into the school. And I'm thinking what a wonderful thing if we could get the young people of Oakland and this Bay Area interested in the theater. Because first of all, it's something that can lead as a hobby into a career that can make a lot of money. We do know that that happens to be open for people of color all over the country and in the world, actually. And we already know how many successful people have started as children. You know, the second thing it does is you've made fun of, you know, it's fun to do. So that gives you something to do. It's the perfect answer to some of the dilemmas I think the kids that have nowhere to go, no place to go. Well, I wonder if they thought about theater. Now, they may not be able to make it to the city all the time, but maybe they can find there are a lot of beautiful little theater groups around here in Oakland and in the Bay Area, Berkeley, so they could start. They have a place to start. The second thing is it would make the parent responsible to the child. And I think a lot of times the parent wants to be responsible. They don't know, they don't have a thing to peg to hang it on. So I think getting kids to get interested in the theater would solve a lot of problems in the black family. What do you think on this, Russell?
Well, I think that's the case. One of the things is that a lot of kids are real creative, and they certainly need an outlet to express that. One of the problems is that the arts a lot of times are being cut out in the schools, and it's just fortunate that William and Aaron have been in schools where art is a primary focus. They both were together at the Beacon School in Oakland, where art was a focus and a passion, and Aaron and William were at Oakland School for the Arts. Aaron is now back at Beacon School. But
can you tell me something about the East Bay Center for the Performing Arts? Because I think
Certainly.
they both went there. That's,
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me some of the things they learned. Everybody can start with
Yeah.
Russell and tell us, because they do a lot of things
Right.
there.
Well, that's a fortunate thing that I happened to run into a colleague one day. Her name is Andrea Lee, and she told me about this wonderful program called the Young Artist Diploma Program. And when she told me about it, I said, I have a wonderful son that I'd like to get involved in that. And so I got in contact with Aaron's mother, and so they both went to apply for the diploma program, and both were accepted. So in that program, every area of the art is covered. So they have theater, they have dance, and all the aspects of dance: African dance, modern dance, hip hop, ballet,
Mexican dance.
Mexican dance.
Yeah.
Also, they have instrumental. Both William and Aaron were in the
Well, we were both in the piano ensemble.
piano ensemble.
Well, tell me, how would an average kid out on it's been going to some of the schools around Oakland, interested, some of them, a lot of them have talent. A lot of them, I'm sure, don't even know that the East
Right.
Bay Performing School is right here in Oakland on Broadway.
Well,
what
no,
would they do to get in there?
The East Bay Center of Performing Arts is actually in Richmond.
Oh, well,
It's
what's
excellent.
the place in the Fox Theater? What is that?
Oh, that's Oakland School for the Arts.
But they can also go to school
Yes,
there?
yes.
So could you tell us how the average kid could get into either one of these
Yes.
schools?
Oakland School for, well, East Bay Center is a performing arts center, so it's not school, so they focus on the arts primarily in the evenings, afternoons and evenings. But Oakland School for the Arts is a charter school. And so anybody's eligible to go, and there's no residency requirement in terms of going there. So the way that you get there is simply by auditioning.
Okay.
So they hold auditions several times a year in the various areas, in instrumental music, in theater, in dance, in vocal, visual arts, literary arts. So just about every aspect of the arts, there's a department where they can audition.
Yes.
So it's not by academic achievement, it's simply by audition.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they can look that school up in the directory and get
Yes.
the name and number and just get their kid there for an audition.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Now, what about the other schools you've been to? The one in Richmond?
Oh, and
East Bay Center for the Performing Arts.
Yes.
That is it's a great opportunity to like meet new people from around like different parts of the East Bay, and it's really good if you're like trying to focus on like music or dance or theater or vocal training, because it has all of those things, and it, like Mr. Russell said, it does have like every type of dance there is.
Great.
It's really, really cool, and they even have like for little children, for like I think it was like 3 to 5 year old.
yeah, they have like
3 to 5
self-development classes.
Yeah, like
Now, about how many kids are performing, are attending that school
There's
now?
about, I'm not sure, but about 100.
Oh, that's great.
I'm not sure if
That's
that's
great.
the truth, but
yes, it's a really, really good.
it looks like
center.
100 people.
Great.
Yeah.
So now, what are now that you have all these things going for you, and how old are you now?
I'm 14.
You're 14?
I'm 13.
You're 13. In the prime of your life, my goodness, you can. The sky is the limit. You can do anything you want to do. How do you see your lives going from here on? I mean, what would you like to do? And we all headed for either Broadway or Hollywood or something, right? But tell me some of your dreams now, your visions after you all play the piano. You play the piano, you dance, you tap, you sing, everything. So, what do you want to do? Get in a musical on Broadway?
Yes, I would. Actually, I would like to, once I finish college, I would like to, well, actually, after I finish high school, I'd like to go to Juilliard or NYU.
Oh, good.
Probably NYU, because I like musical theater, and Juilliard does not have a musical theater.
Oh, okay. That's good you
class.
checked it out.
Yes, I went to the website.
Yeah, boy, you kids are smart. Okay.
Yes, so
But that sounds wonderful.
Yes.
And then you watch that show that's on Glee. That's a lot of
Yes,
that.
Glee.
It has a lot about that, I think.
Yes.
How about you?
I just want to be on the stage or on TV, and because I just had a passion for it when I was just like
I know,
a
it's
little
good
kid.
Talk about me when you were how old were you when you first spoke the magic word?
Actually, it started with TV.
Oh.
It actually started with TV because I just sat down and watching TV, and I just saw what I liked, and I just
Start
fell in
doing
love
what
with
you
it.
saw everybody else doing, right?
Yeah, and so I forgot what my first show was. I actually went to go see a show, but I remember I saw The Lion King in San Francisco, and it was amazing, and I really fell in love with it. And I just said, Dad, I want to act,
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
I want to be in the arts, and he made that dream come true.
That's great.
And yeah.
Well, Russell, it brings me back to the thing about how do we get these kids, some of these kids off the street? We know they're creative because they dance out in the street. I've seen them. They do all these intricate Michael Jackson moves and everything else. And I don't think nobody ever mentions to them there are schools that can take that talent and have you make money. How can we get that? And you're with Laney, so there's a college there that maybe we could get connected to. But how do they do it? How would you do it?
I'm not sure if I have the answers, but I think it's a matter of exposure. I think it's incumbent upon the schools to make their programs available and create a greater awareness that these options are out there. Also, I guess one of the concerns that I have in most of the schools, there's traditionally been an arts program, whereas because of budget cuts, many of those programs are being cut. So that really makes it more and more difficult. But I think with you know a refocus in terms of our priorities, in terms of educational funding, and recognizing the importance of the arts, and the importance of those kids having the opportunity to express their creativity. I think it just really calls for a change in priorities. That's what would be my sense of things.
Well, I'm thinking both from the vantage point of the parent, who knows a lot about. There's a lot of programs out here that fund these kids if they have talent. And they have talent, they just don't know they have it, and they haven't. The right people haven't seen it. How we could get together something that would start taking the kids off the street that say they don't have anything to do, no place to play. Well, what about going into some of these theaters and joining up? Just you say, just do audition. And most of these kids would pass, I'm sure. Do you have any ideas of how you could encourage young people to look for the theater?
I just think, I'm not really sure, but I don't really have any ideas yet. But I think that they should just
Well,
what they want.
for one thing, we need to expose them to people like the two of you, first of all, to see how that it, along with the hard work, is a lot of fun.
Yes.
And then I found the other thing, and it happened that night that I really picked up on was the camaraderie between you and the other performers there, of all colors. They get to perform with children of all colors. That already it's preparing them to work in the world. So that's a plus. Would you talk about that? Because there weren't. How many kids of color were in that production? In the Christmas Carol? Well, not many.
Children?
Yeah, it's just a little kid.
There's about 26.
To all people,
Kids,
children?
no.
Of color.
Of color.
Oh, of
Of
color.
color, yeah.
Oh, of color.
Because I'm thinking,
Me, Aaron.
yeah.
Well, there was,
Who else?
I had a friend named Shalan. She is a Chinese girl. We created like a strong friendship,
Yes.
like in that musical. So, and there was some more people. I don't think they were of color, but they were from a different country.
Yeah,
like,
that's the same thing though, really.
Yeah.
The people that are, you see, because I'm thinking that many of the things, the bullying that's going on and things like this, this is because kids have nowhere to put the energy. But if they got together in theater, having fun, mixing up different races, different people from different colors and different countries, these things would cancel out a lot of the stuff that's going on that we don't know what to do about. And they got all these experts, and nobody's thinking about, well, get theater in there and get the kids in the school to start coming into these places. Doesn't cost a lot of money. Get the parents involved. Look at the problems we could solve just by having kids going into something that they're having fun at. And so that's the dilemma that I'm finding. I can't, if I could just find a magic way to have all of those kids see the two of you in that play, Christmas Carol, and see how much fun you had afterwards. Remember, we went for coffee.
Right.
Yes.
And it was just, it's a way of meeting people, socialization of young people. That's one of the hardest things that happens, isn't it, Russell?
Yes.
Getting them to be comfortable. Yeah. Well, that's what, in the few minutes we have left, perhaps we can talk about some of the favorite things that you did since you have studied. What your favorite thing to do is. Do you like to just dance or play piano, act, all three? What's your vision of the future, of your future?
Well, because I've been playing the piano since I was like 4 years old, so I've always had like a love for piano.
Yeah.
And sports and swimming and tennis, actually. I've gotten into tennis a little bit.
That's good.
But I've always really, really loved musical theater, which involves dancing, vocal, and theater, or acting. And I just...
Well, that's about a mouthful already, I think. All right, William.
I like singing because I've been doing that since I was like
I heard something about
3.
gospel. Did I hear that you're involved in gospel?
Yeah, a little bit. I
what do
sing
you
in the
do?
church.
Tell me.
I sing in the church.
The choir?
Yeah, I have a youth choir and a uni choir. Youth choir is all youth. It used to be a big group when I was young, but the kids started to
Do you sing in
leave.
church?
I sing in church.
That
And
is wonderful.
now we're doing a praise dance there, and we have youth Sundays, and sometimes we do
Okay.
praise
That's wonderful.
dance there.
Well, I want to thank each one of you. I mean, to me, it opens up a brand new door. You know, I have 2 sons in the theater, so
Right.
I know that it's certainly kept them off the street, and they're both, it's been very profitable, particularly for Ted, as you know, but who was on the Love Boat. And Michael is doing Malcolm X, and they both make money. Michael just got back from Chicago. They go Chicago, New York, and they make money on their plays. So the good thing about this is that at Oakland Tech, Ted's drama teacher told him that you can make money at this. And so what you're doing is doing what's fun. You're off the streets, you're using your energy to something you love doing, and you may be able to have a wonderful career. So anyway, keep up the good work, and we'll try and find a way to get this message out to the rest of the kids.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for me, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for joining us.
Thank you.